Harry Dunn was 19 when he died last year after his motorbike was in a collision with a car allegedly driven by the wife of a US intelligence officer. Anne Sacoolas left the UK nearly 3 weeks after the crash under diplomatic immunity. She was charged with causing death by dangerous driving, but the US government refuses to extradite her. We've learned that when the Foreign Office was told she was returning to America, its officials didn't pass it on to Northamptonshire police, whose responsibility was to establish whether she had diplomatic immunity. In the days after Harry Dunn's death, police say the Foreign Office told them Anne Sacoolas had diplomatic immunity and they would seek a waiver. But police weren't told about discussions here over the legality of that immunity. Events then moved quickly, but no one told the police. On Friday, September the 13th, 2 senior Foreign Office officials met US Embassy counterparts who said diplomatic immunity wouldn't be waived and the Sacoolas family would return to the US the next day unless the UK had strong objections, which officials say they expressed. But the following day, a senior Foreign Office official sent a text message to a US Embassy counterpart saying, "I think that now the decision has been taken not to waive immunity, there's not much mileage in us asking you to keep the family here. It's obviously not us approving of their departure, but I think you should feel able to put them on the next flight out." The following day, Anne Sacoolas and her family flew back to America. Northamptonshire police only found out that she'd gone in a Foreign Office call the next day. Documents we've seen say the senior investigating officer recalls being told by Foreign Office officials that Anne Sacoolas had approached them in the days before leaving, asking if there was anything stopping her and her family from going. Harry Dunn's mother says she's shocked by the revelations.
Really angry. It's just beyond belief, the amount of times we've met with them. We should have been properly grieving in those first few months. We should have been given the chance. And we should have, we deserved the truth. To send it in a text message? I mean, seriously, who the hell have we got running our country?
And with your permission. A month after that text message, Dominic Raab gave this account of the Foreign Office reaction to learning Anne Sacoolas was leaving.
We duly and immediately objected in clear and strong terms, and we have done ever since.
We've seen a Foreign Office briefing note copied to Dominic Raab's private secretary 3 days after the crash, outlining what happened. It reveals concern over the potential for some very unpalatable headlines. Can you ever trust the Foreign Secretary again in the light of what you've learned here?
Never. Nor his team. I'll never trust any of them again. Ever. As far as I'm concerned, he needs to completely reevaluate the position that he holds.
We must get the truth for Harry's sake. He was a good lad and he deserves it.
There are now calls for an independent inquiry.
I think this new evidence shows why a parliamentary inquiry is really, really needed. You've essentially got a young man here who's lost his life and nobody has been held to account for that. Justice has just not been done.
Tonight, the Foreign Office said, "We consistently called for Anne Sacoolas' immunity to be waived before she left the UK. Both the Prime Minister and the Foreign Secretary have been clear with the US that the refusal to extradite her amounts to a denial of justice and that she should return to the UK. With a judicial review hearing soon, Northamptonshire Police said it would be inappropriate to comment. Harry Dunn would have turned 20 last month. His birthday fell on Mother's Day this year.
Every day, you know that he's always, ever, only going to be 19. You know, the plans that he had are never going to happen. He's always just going to be 19.